Hi, I'm Caitlin Jenkins, the family law vlogger, and today's vlog is next in the series of the stages of divorce, and this one is looking at what you should be doing if you're preparing for a meeting to see a solicitor. So assume you've got the meeting in the diary, you've found the solicitor you're comfortable with, you've got that first meeting with the solicitor coming up. What should you be doing? So my first tip would be to think about trying to get across to the solicitor the factual information up front. So some solicitors before a first meeting will ask you to fill in a form online or send them an email with all the basics, so full names, dates of birth of you, your partner, any children, any details around your finances that you know, names of businesses, any other factual information that you've been able to gather together, just to put it all in one place so that the solicitor has that to hand before the meeting, for the meeting, so that you can have that information sent across already, so the solicitor doesn't have to take that information from you during the meeting, which means you can really focus in the meeting on the advice as opposed to just taking the basics down. So that's the first thing. The second thing would be to think about what it is you want to get out of the meeting. So what are you worried about? What questions do you really need answered? And I always say to clients that there's no daft questions. Most people, when they're taking advice from a family lawyer, it's the first time they've been in that situation. They have no idea what the basics are around divorce and finances and arrangements for children, and often, understandably, in a pretty emotional situation. So actually taking a bit of time before the meeting to write a list of what you're worried about, what advice you want on which topics, and potentially if the solicitor's happy with this, and I always am, send that list into the solicitor beforehand, perhaps in an email, to say those are the aspects you want to cover. Now, that could be around things like what will happen in relation to the arrangements for our children. Where will they live? How much time will they spend with each of their parents? How does that work? What's the process for that? The same in relation to actual divorce process. How do people actually get divorced? What are the grounds? How long does it take? Those sorts of things. And then thirdly, there's often questions about finances. So what information is needed to make a decision about what the financial arrangements are going to be if you do divorce? What's the process? How long does it take? What information is needed? What happens if people don't provide the relevant information? So lots of questions are often floating around in people's minds, totally understandably, and actually having those listed down and sent into the solicitor, or just take it to the meeting with you, so you make sure you get the answers at your meeting that you need to be able to reassure you and work out what your next steps are. The other thing that it's important to be really clear about before a meeting with a solicitor and then for a longer term is costs. So before your meeting with a solicitor, make sure you know what you're going to be charged for. Are you going to be charged a fixed fee for that initial meeting? Are you going to be charged on the solicitor's hourly rate? If so, what is that hourly rate? Make sure you understand what the costs are, what you're embarking on. And then in the first meeting, most solicitors, and certainly we would do this, would discuss with people what the costs are going to be going forward. So those would be my tips. One, to understand a bit of preparation, do a bit of preparation on the factual side. Two, write a list of things that you're worried about and that you really want to know the answers to and want reassurance on. And three, make sure you know before you go to that meeting how much it's going to cost you, and then make sure that during that meeting you get some advice on the cost of the way forward. As always with the Family Law Vlog, we can only give general information and general advice, but if you need advice on your specific circumstances, then please do contact me or one of my specialist colleagues in the Mills Reeve Family and Children team, whose details you'll find below this blog. Thank you.